Trojans, baby, we living in the moment. I've been a menace for the longest, but I ain't finished. I'm devoted, and you know it, and you know it.
All right, you know it's 4 o'clock on Monday, so you know what it is. It's the Benchpress from the Palatial Studios here at TSU. My name is Scott Wallace, and just another great weekend of sports that we had. We were able to watch some, was able to read about some and all that good stuff. And we're going to have a whole lot of stuff to talk about today for this 2-hour power, but I'm going to have to introduce my guys in studio with me. Can't do this by myself. Of course, I have the Nostradamus of radio, Jason Sales in the house. What's going on, Jason?
As you said, another Monday and I guess I'm ready to start this week, I guess.
Yeah. Columbus Day, but you had to go to school today?
Yeah. School day, midterm week, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't miss those days.
All right. Of course, to his left is McKinley Young, the Metro Man. What's going on, Mac Daddy?
What's good, everybody?
Oh, we got a lot of announcements, and we're going to make some announcements to you all, some surprises.
A lot of big things going on.
Yeah, we're going to talk about later on. Of course, we're going to have our NFL talk this hour, and it's going to talk a little bit about the Colin Kaepernick situation and other things that's going on. Of course, the Titans won. Yeah.
Man, woo! I almost had to do the taco neck syndrome, the sack like 3 times just to make sure. You know, I ran out, came back in, double check, rewind, all that good stuff.
And then in the second hour, we're gonna talk to Pearl Cone head coach Tony Bernetti. It was a big game this week at Vanderbilt between the East Nashville Eagles and the Pearl Cone Firebirds, and Tony Bernetti is gonna call in at about 4:15, and then after that, it's gonna be a great announcement. We're gonna hold that to that third segment. I'm gonna tell you about it then.
Yes,
and then,
sir.
of course, then since we had Tony Bernetti, we got to have the other coach call in too. We're gonna have Brian Waite, the coach of East Nashville, to call in. We're gonna talk a little MLB playoffs, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the SEC. Now, the teams that we usually think is going to run the SEC are not running it. Mississippi State, them two sips, the cricket letters,
Mississippi
the cricket
State,
letters is handling their business right now. So let's get into some NFL talk as we go through this. And Colin Kaepernick, it was one of the things that happened, Jason, about wearing the Beats headphone. Now, the NFL has done a lot about branding and things like that, but the Beats headphones that Colin Kaepernick wore, and I have an issue with him wearing those during when he's getting interviewed. But now, you know, they're saying that you can't wear them anytime. You have to wear their Bose because they have a contract with Bose. And as someone has been in locker rooms in the NFL, I haven't played, but I've been around locker rooms in the NFL. They do have a police officer. It's not a police officer. They call it the uniform police guy. Right. And he watches everything that they wear, how their socks are and all that good stuff. So, Jason, what do you think about this? You can't wear Beats headphones, and also Cam Newton ended up wearing some too. He got fined $10,000, Kaepernick did. But what do you think about that? They're policing that now.
The first thing I thought is, well, the NFL also has the merchandise contract with Nike, but players are allowed to have contracts with Under Armour or Adidas or Reebok, whoever you want.
Exactly.
So why can't you have Colin Kaepernick has the deal with Beats headphones? Why can't he wear them? I understand that the NFL has their they made. I'm pretty sure Bose is putting a pretty good piece of change in their pocket to advertising with them, but I mean they also have deals with Microsoft. I was watching a pretty good commercial yesterday. Before I saw a movie, but are they going to start telling people you can't use Apple computers on your on the team bus and things?
Wow.
So it's just it's silly. I'm with you. I don't want to see my quarterback or anybody on my team wearing headphones during press conference. Just put them in your pocket or your backpack and wait till after. But fine him $10,000 because of what he's personally wearing is a little silly.
Yeah,
that's all they can do. Like. Right now, the NFL has no real credibility as far as coming from the executive office down, dealing with the Ray Rice stuff and just all types of different things. And like you said, the fact that you trying to tell this man that he can't wear who he has a contract with, a company that he has a contract with to be a sponsor, it's just another something else that they're trying to bring up to kind of try to take their mind off of what's actually going on, I think. Because to me, that's petty. Like, it really doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because 1 or 2 people wear Beats, you have how many people in the NFL? So those two guys have contracts with him. They're there to protect their brand and to make money for them. Just like if the commissioner had a Hanes underwear contract and he wore Hanes all the time, and the league wanted them to wear Fruit of the Looms or something different like that, you know? So it's stupid, man. Like, it's too many other things that they need to worry about, like trying to figure out a way that referees can actually tell if it's a legitimate hit or if it's a bad or if it's an illegal hit.
Right. And getting to the games, you know, a lot of things happened yesterday. Like we said, the Titans won, the Bears won. So I was very happy
All right,
on Sunday.
for you, huh?
Yeah, it's all right.
TSU won?
Nope.
No, they didn't.
They did not.
I forgot.
And
I
you
got
know,
thrilled.
you know what? I was at the game, and I guess when I go to games at the Hole, I need to go no more because that's the first time they lost since 1990 something at the Hole, and I was there.
I don't think you're the jinx.
No, I wasn't.
Nah,
jinxed.
you're not the jinx.
Tony Thompson's in the house. What's going on, Coach?
Man, what a weekend, fellas. I want to say hello. Thank you. I want to send a special shout out to my guys out of Me Road Chapter, University of Tennessee. Good homecoming. Thanks for taking care of my brother this weekend.
All right. So now getting back into that. Now, a lot of things happened yesterday. One of the things that made me laugh, and Jason, we talked about this a while ago, is when they had a tie yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a
Well,
long
not a
Just a
very
couple
long
seasons.
time.
Just a couple seasons.
Right, because this is what I want to talk about.
Seattle and,
What I want to talk about
St.
because Philadelphia was in a tie one game, and a guy, Donovan McNabb, who'd been in the league for, I don't know, at that point probably over 7 years, so he
Quarterback
didn't
of
know.
your team.
Right, didn't know
Did
that
not
there
know
was-
you could tie.
You could tie. And then Kelvin Benjamin, who's a rookie this year, said the same. I didn't know that we could tie in the NFL. Just, you know, I don't know how you don't know the rules if you're playing the game.
Yeah,
they
we're
don't.
not-
They
we're-
don't tell them.
But we're not talking about an obscure rule like, you know,
Right.
if you're, you know, like Leon Washington a few years ago in the game on kickoff return, he stood out of bounds, picked up the football, and it was an illegal procedure
Right.
because the ball touched the player that was out of bounds. It's not an obscure rule like that. It's a tie. If you look in the columns on anything, there's a W, L, and a T.
Yeah.
Just in case that happens.
Yeah. So Kelvin Benjamin said he didn't even know, and of course it was a missed field goal, and in that game, Cincinnati was tied. They had a chance to win. Mike Nugent is the kicker for the Cincinnati Bengals. It was a 36-yard field goal, and he pushed to the right, and your guy Pac-Man Jones, Adam, whatever you want to call him,
Pac-Man.
just
He's
went
still-
completely
he's
bonkers.
back to Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
still
he
Pac-Man.
had a Pac-Man moment. He had a Pac-Man
he
moment.
went off talking about do your job and all that. I guess he's never missed a tackle. I guess he's never,
He never
missed
gotten
an
in trouble
assignment
in the league
Yeah, he
or
never
anything
made
like
it
that.
rain.
But you know exactly how they say. That's what you get paid to make kicks. That's your job.
He gets paid to guard
He
people.
gets
He
paid to make
does.
sure a defender doesn't catch a
and
football.
if he gets burnt and toast, everybody tears them up. Everybody, if like Richard Sherman, Dez Bryant had a pretty decent game on Sherman, even though I think Sherman played good. Dez Bryant just made some plays. It's gonna happen to some good plays. But they said, Dez exposing Richard Sherman.
Who said
All
that?
this.
It wasn't Seattle's. It wasn't the other players on Seattle. We talking about a player. This is a teammate saying that.
That's why
the difference.
you don't.
Hey.
If you saying something to him in the locker room, even then you're kind of like, you know, hey, I made a mistake. I didn't win us the game. Sorry, but to go in front of reporters and say, you know, my kicker didn't do his job. Well,
It's
thanks,
not,
man.
But it's not the first time it's happened though.
Kickers, man, when they always say what? Leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
Get in the zone.
Let him get
No
in
one
his
knows
zone.
your name until you
And
mess up.
Exactly.
You gotta make that kick. Like he makes that kick 9 times out of 10 every time. Probably in practice he makes it 10 out of 10 because it's just there.
It's one of those things I always say that if he wants to say that they didn't win because of that, I'm sure at several other points during the game, somebody missed an assignment where a player got 10 yards that he didn't need, or you know, quarterback missed a throw. So there's never one play that cost you a game, or you know, or anything like that. So again, that's, you know,
Well, the prime example is a good example you just said. Down on the drive, you know, Jack's driving on the Titans. And brothers, he gets out of the pocket. Beautiful move out the pocket.
Yep.
Then see the receiver break behind the defense. You know, and he throws the ball out of bounds because he's about to be sacked. You know,
Yep.
so you say about the quarterback, you know, he made a mistake because he didn't throw it over back. You know,
there's never one play that's
Never
Exactly.
one
always
I
been.
mean, it's
Never one
no
play.
way, like you said, the way that he should have handled it, it should have been in-house. But again, it's Pac-Man.
We're gonna revisit
don't
that.
know.
We're gonna revisit. We got somebody on the line right now. We got Tony Bernetti, coach of the Pearl Cone Firebirds, on the line. What's going on, Coach?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Hey,
Bruno.
It's all good, man. It's a big game. I know you already got your chops licked and all that. You had a nice little off week this past week, but you're gonna be in the big house this Friday against the East Eagles, a game that's gonna determine probably who's gonna be the District 10 AA champions. How excited is your team about that game, Coach?
Well, I think we're pretty excited. Wise, I mean, I think the biggest thing the kids enjoyed the break on last week. You know, we worked most of the week and gave some time off at the end. And come back today and just have a good smooth day today. Not trying to do too much, just do the middle things. That's the biggest thing I'm trying to do today with the kids.
Now I heard through the grapevine that Keyshawn Johnson was in God's country up in West Lafayette, Indiana. We'll visit.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I said I heard from the grapevine that Keyshawn Vaughn was in God's country in Indiana at Purdue University in West Lafayette visiting.
Yeah, he took a official visit up there just to see what it's about. Maybe he got some other official business.
Got some technical difficulty, Coach. I want you to know, if you can hear me, that Purdue did. I took a visit up there, and it's a great campus and a place that he's going to be able to play right away if he went on ahead and signed with them. So I hope I got my fingers crossed on that one. I want to see him go up there so I can go to some games and brag about. I know that the leading rusher in the Big Ten right now. 'Cause I believe that if he goes there or Wisconsin, he would definitely get a lot of clock.
Yeah, Abdul's a big leading rusher.
Yeah, Wisconsin, one of the schools. I mean, I think he wants to visit. If they can work out on an official visit, I think he's gonna make a difference as well. There in Louisville, I know those two most definitely. I don't know what else he got.
Let's talk about this game this Friday. You know, what have you seen on tape that you think that by East only has given up 7 points this year? Of course, that was on a punt return. So what do you see on defense especially on the defensive side about? We already know about East offense, about Isaiah Upton and Lennox McAfee, but on defense, how did it look to you?
I mean, they're playing better team ball. I mean, the difference is they playing good team ball. They're playing good team defense. They want individually all playing left people on the ball. They're being consistent. They all on the ball. They're playing hard defense, as I see. And not giving up the big play. And that's what defense is supposed to do.
Hey, Bruno. Talk about the importance of, how important it is having Jimmy be as successful.
Jimmy Farrell.
Yeah, Jimmy Farrell being as successful, passing the ball and kind of loosening up defenses to make your run game kind of work and flow as well as it's been.
I think the biggest thing, if you look at data-wise, consistent-wise, we've been pretty, as a year been going on, we were pretty even running Anthem. I think I said that you can't load the box on. You want to load the box on us, you got to deal with him. I get the kid. The kid his percentage is like 72%, 73% throwing-wise this year. You know, and if you want to load the box like last year, if you want to load the boxes in the playoffs, but it's a different story now because you got to deal with the pass situation.
Now, a lot of people, the WTN Tribune radio team is going to be there to do the radio for the game, and a lot of people are really talking about this game on Facebook. Even at my church, they were arguing about it. Got some Pearl Cone folks at my church and some East Nashville folks at my church, and I thought that was at the bar and at the church on Sunday. Everybody talking about it, man. So it's exciting. You got a lot of buzz going around this city about this game. You guys have a great following, and probably the best following in Metro. How is the people around school? I know you haven't been in school yet, but around campus talking about this. How are they reacting to them being able to play at Vanderbilt against a good team?
These things, the school-wise, we ain't on campus, and we'll see this week. So school-wise, we usually kids be supported, but really, the community be supported right now. I've been very proud and impressed because they come out and they really come out supporters wherever we've been. And especially last year, but really this year. You got old heads coming out. I ain't seen since
Yes, sir.
But I've seen more old guys come out and come to practice and watch and stuff. And seeing, I think it's just a pride more, the guys who played here in the past to see us perform like we were performing-wise and knowing the chance we got, how far we can go is up to us. The kids take care of the football and just doing what you do.
Now, knowing exactly how dynamic and explosive East offense it has been throughout the season, what are some of the different things that you guys will probably work on this week, seeing that about 60 or 70% of the offense really goes through Isaiah and Lennox?
I think the biggest thing is stay at home. Stay at home and do your job. I think that's the biggest thing: being consistent and doing your job, and not make sure you do a good job containing them and keep them in the pocket, and everybody runs to the football and wrap up. That's the biggest thing: run to the football and wrap it up. If you do those things, you got a chance to win. If you sit there and blow bus and give him opportunities to get over field, then he's going to hurt you. He's a great athlete. I give it to him. I can't go.
All right, Coach, we're going to let you go. We know you got some work to do this week, man. We appreciate you once again calling in. And
always.
I know you
always. No problem at all.
Now, I'm coming out there sometime either tomorrow or Wednesday, so, we can sit down and chit-chat. I got a little surprise for the guys, too. Show them a little championship ring, kind of get them a little bit, throw a little bit more.
So you're not supposed to be unbiased in this.
I will be unbiased on Friday. But right now, this is Monday through Thursday.
You got a lot of pride.
Like you said, once a Firebird, always a Firebird.
All right, so, Coach, we'll let you get back to practice, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right, my buddies. Y'all take it easy.
All right, man. Coach Tony Brunetti of the Pearl-Cone Firebirds. Only loss this year was against the NBA, which is a team that you basically can say they're on the college campus.
Yeah, they shouldn't have lost.
And they shouldn't have lost that game. But it's going to be a good game this week. Jason, we witnessed. Now people say that all that East has is Lennox McAfee and Isaiah Upton.
Oh no!
But I saw a wide receiver go deep on Maplewood. I saw some. I don't know. Number one, I forgot his name.
Daniel Brown.
Daniel Brown, the safety.
Are you talking about Trotter? Number 5.
I'm talking about number one. Number one, the safety, the free safety.
One plays corner, 5 plays free safety.
Okay, well, whoever was
that
number
was 5
one
that came up on if you talking about the hit that came around, I think it was either.
No, I'm talking about the hit that was on Boo Boo Alexander.
That was 5.
But whoever it was, that wasn't Isaiah Lennox McAfee, Jason. That was somebody else. So they have an offensive line is strong and all that. Jason, what do you think is going to happen this Friday? You're gonna come out of retirement and do some color this week.
Yeah, they're gonna y'all putting the hat back on me. So I guess I'll go up there.
Sir.
But anybody that says that that's all they have going. Isaiah Upton isn't responsible for teams not scoring on them except for the punt fiasco they had against Maplewood,
which we will ask Coach about that.
And honestly, I was literally like 20 feet away from him. I don't think that ball got touched by a Maplewood player.
Yeah,
that ball it went straight in the air and towards the sideline. But anyway, that's a team over there. Like we said, they have a pretty much a program going in high school where it starts with. The coaches, like Coach Wade said, he wasn't satisfied with the way he saw things go around here with Metro teams. It trickles down into their players. Their band is on board with the football team. Their students are on board with the football team. They have everything going the way you would want it for a football program.
Their middle school, like it starts there. They start young because they blessed to actually have the middle schoolers at the same campus where their high schoolers are. So
built-in feeder system, and that's when they do that from that, and they have a great principal. I'm really impressed with Dr. Steve Ball. I like to call him friend. I'm glad I can call him friend, but he's very supportive of the athletic department, and they just have a great thing going on. And we have a few friends over there that are doing some coaching over there that have said that they do a lot of going out in the community and cleaning up and things like that. So it's just a great atmosphere over there, and just something that we like to see. And of course, Tony, about the basketball team over there, how well they've been playing. So just shout out to East, and then we're going to talk to Coach Brian Waite a little bit later. But again, we're back to this NFL talk, and this Cowboys coaches said that Ray Sherman was overrated. Richard Sherman. I said Ray Sherman. Richard Sherman is overrated, and
there's a reason he has the contract he has. There's a reason he has the what is his third or fourth season in the league, and he already has the reputation he has. He's not overrated. I've heard people saying, well, he doesn't cover it people like he used to. He plays within the system. They don't run the same system they've been running defensively. So, I mean, how would it look if everybody's running zone and he's chasing a man across the field and, he gives up an assignment? So the whole overrated talk just ridiculous and silly.
Take Jimmy out the picture, they've been winning. Jimmy in the picture, they losing.
There it is.
There it is. I know, and these Cowboy fans, I know they loving him. You know, they haven't seen this. They haven't seen this much good run in years.
Wait till November, December.
Yeah.
That's when it's proven, because they've started off well, like the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they said Roma has a terrible second half.
Yeah, it's when the second half when it counts. When you right there each year with one game every year to win, and you can't pull it off, then what?
Now, I was able to watch that game yesterday. The Cowboys. Now I beat up the Titans when the Cowboys came up here and did what they did to them, but I saw an impressive game, and Jason and I were talking about it. They finally figured out to run the ball. They got DeMario Murray and run the ball. Just run the ball, and that's it. And they ran the ball down the third.
91%, in the last 5 years when they run the ball, 6% of the time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I mean, but I think the game of the day to me was beautiful. That beautiful fake from Aaron.
Yeah.
Up at the Packers, man.
Yeah.
To win the game over the Dolphins.
The Dan Marino.
In the house of Dan Marino.
In the house of Dan.
Now, I heard a rule. Now, they told me, I was listening to the radio this morning. I'm not going to give the call letters because I never do. But they said that it's illegal for you to do that. They said that they can call it intentional grounding if you fake it, but you have to, your first move can't not be faking it. You have to take 2 steps back, then fake it, and then you can do it. They said if you fake it and don't do it, if your first move is to fake and you don't do it, they call it intentional grounding, no matter what. So I didn't know that rule. That was one of those obscure rules, Jason.
Yeah, there you go.
Elvin
Benjamin definitely doesn't know that one.
Yeah, but see, that's why if you notice, though, every time a quarterback, when he gets ready to spike the ball, for the most part, they always take that 2 steps back and drop it. So quarterbacks understand what it is. Yeah. Everybody else on the field besides Adams was like,
but Roger said that no one. Roger said they talked to him this morning on ESPN. He said absolutely no one knew that he was going to fake that ball. What he did is when he threw it to a rookie. Line, he said he looked over at before he hiked the ball. He looked over to that right side, looked at the rookie, and they just kind of hit eye to eye. He said, and when he took them 2 steps back, the rookie broke on him.
Yep.
Bam, hit him on the inside. Got out of bounds too.
The Patriots did it with Tom Brady and Randy Moss, and the signal was Tom Brady grabbed his face mask, and that's how Randy Moss knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. So.
But you can't lose that game. Like Miami, your defense has been playing pretty decent the whole season. You cannot fall asleep at that point when you have a Aaron Rodgers or a Drew Brees or a Peyton Manning or somebody like that. But any NFL quarterback.
Well, it was nice that they caught him on a one-on-one coverage. So
exactly. That play wasn't the one. Was the one after the touchdown. That wasn't even no coverage on that. Corliss just did a little quick out and threw him a pass.
That's what happens, though, when
he gave up
when
or something.
You bring your tight end out there and you have to bump your linebacker out there, which I think a lot of teams need to do. You have those big safeties who can play like that nickel-type linebacker in situations like that, pretty much knowing that they not really going to try to run the ball because they really hadn't had that much success. I'm bringing one of them safeties in there. Yeah, I'm bringing in one of them safeties to cover those tight ends.
All right. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. And after we get back from this break, we'll have our special announcement to make.
Sound the trumpets.
Yeah. We'll be right back with the bench
press.
Drum
roll, please.
We'll be right back.
Nurse, I need you to apply pressure to the head wound until I can get to it. I'm concerned she's lost too much blood.
Oh, no.
You in the corner, who are you? You're not supposed to be here.
She's my girlfriend, Doctor.
You need to wait out in the waiting room.
Please, Doctor, I want to stay with her.
Look, she's been badly injured. So if you want to do what's best for her, you need to let us do our work.
Please, Doctor, she has to be okay. I didn't mean to do this. I love her.
Wait a second. You were the driver?
Yes, but I didn't mean to. I swear, we went to dinner. I was just buzzed. I only had a few drinks.
Just buzzed? Why didn't you tell us that? In that case, your girlfriend is fine.
Hey, sweetie. I feel great. You want to get out of here?
I can't believe this. Really, Doctor? She's really okay?
What, are you kidding? No, not really. Nurse, get me a suture kit. Stat.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese.
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Scott Wallace, and listen to Hour of Power, the Benchpress Sports Show.
I'm so glad we left that stupid party.
No joke.
Hey, baby, are you an overdue library book? Because you got fine written all over you.
Oh, barf. What about that girl with the hoop earrings?
Ridiculous. When she was dancing...
Megan, look out! Look out!
Oh my God, Becky. Becky, are you okay?
My arm. I think it's broken.
Can you bend it?
It's already bent. In the wrong direction.
I can't believe this. I'm so sorry. I only had a few drinks. I was just buzzed.
Really? Just buzzed?
Yeah, I swear.
Well, in that case, my arm is fine. Ah, that's better.
You're really okay? You're serious, Becky?
No, genius. I'm not serious. Ow! My arm, it hurts.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
And we're back here on the bench press for our third segment. We just skipped over that second. We just blended it in, Jason. So, you know.
Put it in the bowl.
It's like that.
Oh, live radio. Yeah. We good? We good? We good? We good? We good? All right. All right. So now we got our announcement that we had just last week. We had a caller. We had a call last week. The Columbia State basketball coach, head basketball coach, is a friend of this show, Coach Brian Penny Collins. He called in, and the last thing he said was, you know, why don't y'all come out and do a game or two on the radio? And we just had nothing but a word. And then that went from talking to him that morning and went to a whole lot of other things. And we have him on the line right now, and we're going to make sure that we have him on the line for a special announcement. Are we good? Okay, for a special announcement that we're making with WTN Tribune family, and also with the Wallace Media Group, and with the Columbia State University Chargers, which is the number 10 ranked team in the junior college here in the United States. And Coach Penny Collins, Coach Brian Penny Collins on the line. What's going on, Coach?
Oh, man, how you doing, man? Excited right now.
Yes, sir.
We all are excited, and we're going to make that announcement with you on here, man. We talked, and we've signed the papers and all that, and now the WTN Tribune Radio is the official flagship station for the Columbia State Chargers, and that means that. And then with that, they hired a certain guy that has a little bit of experience being an SID as their sports.
Yes, sir.
Heard about that guy?
You know, I heard that.
As their sports information director, that's of course me, and I am excited. Everyone's excited, and Penny, we're excited to be working with you, man.
Oh, man, I really can't put it into words what it's going to do for our program and just the whole brand of Columbia State athletics, and the possibilities that we're going to be able to do is just limitless. And I'm just excited to get it started, man. I felt it on Friday afternoon. I'm sure you felt it too, Scott, being there. And it just a scrimmage game like that, and it was just so much buzz in there. Mm-hmm. And I'm just excited about what's about to happen this year.
Well, see, you know, Penny did me. He knows my ego. I have a big ego. Unless y'all didn't know that stuff, but he introduced me to. Y'all didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, Penny picked it up, and he introduced me to the athletic director of Cumberland University, asked the sports information director, and his eyes got big. And I saw Jessica Pate, who's the women's basketball coach over there. I told her about it. She said, I already knew. And then his mother came up to me and said, I heard the good news, and Jamie Graham and everybody. So it's a great thing that's going on. And Penny, we're just excited about doing this, and we're going to talk about a little bit about all the things that we're going to do. Of course, as a sports information director, I'm going to be doing stats, also a little bit of announcing, and also doing game stories. Then WTN Tribune Radio will be doing home and away games for you all, and just a great, not just for the men's team who if you haven't seen this team yet, you all, it's a team, and they went to Cumberland and beat them 81-67, and it wasn't that close.
Oh, yeah.
So we're excited about that, and talk about some of your players. Now I can talk about a little bit, of course, T.J. Dunnins. Now I always like to. I went back and I told people that he kind of got a little Scottie Pippen in his game. Is that a good assessment, Penny?
Yeah. I thought that is a good assessment because he's long, he's a wing, he can push it, and he plays good defense, and he fills the stat sheet up. So that is a pretty good comparison.
All right, and then you have other guys. You got some guys, Mr. Cromer, who can fill it up. You got a point guard that I love his demeanor, Justin Pride. Oh my goodness, you talking about a guy so some guys, you just want to just go into the hole with and go into the bunkers with. And that's Justin Pride. He's a tough left-handed. He goes to the hole. I like his game too. So you told me that it's a lot of guys on that team that you never heard of that I'm gonna like.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's one of them.
Justin Pride, without a doubt, he's one of the best, if not the best, point guard in the country. And he's just a special player. He's a winner. A kid won 3 state championships in high school, and what he did here in his freshman year last year was phenomenal, leading our team. And then just to see his growth and development, excited about what's about to happen for him in his sophomore year at Columbia State.
Oh yeah, what's good, Penny? You have experience coming back. Like you said, you have the number 1 player in junior college basketball in TJ. Just kind of let everybody know a little bit more about some of the newcomers, some of the listeners that wasn't able to listen to us last week. Let us know a little bit about some of the newcomers that you got coming in that's going to be able to come in and contribute right away.
Okay. Well, we got 2 guys from Nashville who we're very excited about. Jamonte Graham, who's transferring from Tennessee State, guard. We have Jamonte Davis, who's 6'9", forward. He's also transferring from Tennessee State, played at Hillsborough High School, Graham playing at Father Ryan. We have a young man by the name of T.J. Cromer, who we just got done talking about, who's a very, very good player. He's from Albany, Georgia, but he played junior college ball in Florida last year. We have 2 young men that weren't able to play. This Scott hasn't even got a chance to see yet. They're both 6'8". 6'8" kid from Georgia named Emmanuel Griggs, who's going to be very, very fun to watch. A very athletic player, very high energy. And then the other kid is from Smyrna, 6'8", Gonda Amiri, shot blocker, rebounder. He's going to add extra depth to our front court. And I'm trying to think. Oh, we have a young man from Memphis named Blake Johnson, who played at NCSU his freshman year season, and then transferred over to us. And he's, playing the role as the backup point guard right now. Played at Southland High School. Played with Jarnell Stokes at Central High School in Memphis. So our roster is a very fun roster. We got some great style of play, and these newcomers and mixing in with some of these returners, we got a chance to be special.
Penny, Coach Tony, coming out of that exhibition game you had, what were some of the real good things? As a coach on that sideline, you see some things that like, oh wow, they've gotten a little more advanced since early practices, and this has really worked well. But then on the backside of it, what are some things that you saw that okay, this could hurt us, come conference play or come crunch time that I need to clean up on?
Right. Well, I thought the good thing was that we play against each other so much. They were just so tired of playing against each other. And playing that atmosphere right there, playing against somebody else and having people in the stands, we were jumping higher than we usually jump. We were running a little harder than we usually run. And when you're not used to playing at that pace, you kind of get used to that, playing at that game speed. You preach it to them all the time in practice, game speed, push it, but it's different from the game, just different. So just getting those legs back under us is the biggest thing for us right now, and continuing to learn how to play together. You know, that's going to be ultimately the thing that's going to be our Achilles heel, is that no matter what's going on, we got to continue to stay positive, and no matter if the other team's talking smack or doing something that's not kosher to just, you know, being a basketball player, we got to stay focused on what we got going on, because, you know, our goal is, you know, national championship, and it's bigger than just one day. So that's pretty much where we are right now, and if we can just continue to work every day and just get better daily, that's all I can really ask for.
And Coach, it's three things I want to discuss about that game. One, and this was Mac is really excited about seeing you on the sidelines. And one of the things that you did I've never seen before. They had the ball with like 10 seconds left in the half. They were up, and at the 5-second mark, he decided to call timeout. 5 seconds left in the half. They got the ball. He calls a timeout, sets a play, throws an alley-oop, gets a dunk. And
I've seen it.
Yeah, he's done it. And then what happens after that? He goes into the locker room, makes adjustments, and then they go on a 7-0 run. And what he said after the game was that spearheaded that play that made them push the lead out in the front. That was that. What in your mind, Coach, when you made that time? Was that in your mind to get that rolling like that?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you know, you just want to get a good shot. And, you know, what's a more high percentage shot than a lob right there at the rim? Yeah. So, you know, we drew up a play. And, you know, when you got good players, you know, they make you look good. So we drew it up, and they went out there and executed, and that did steamroll us, you know, into the second half. So we were up 8, and we immediately jumped up to 15 within the first 2 or 3 minutes of the second half, and then kind of just rolled from there.
Another thing, Justin Pryor, you talked about the point guard. Why I like him so much, too, is that when I asked him a question, I said, you know, you guys played a 4-year school, and, you know, you came in here and you weren't intimidated. And he said, no, we all feel like we Division I players, so it didn't. You know, we came in expected to win. I was impressed by him saying that, Coach.
Yeah, and that's I'm so glad that they had that confidence. Coach Thompson in Cumberland University, I mean, he does a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're so well coached. You know, they run their sets so, you know, well. They're disciplined, and, you know, they prepare us every year. You know, we play them every year, and, you know, it is true. Our guys, they feel like they're Division I players, and they feel like they should to win every game. So even though they're a 4-year school, you know, our guys were confident going in there, and I'm just glad that we were able to come out and get tested like we were.
Now, you talked about, you know, the guys, you know, because the guys on Cumberland team they did a little wolf talking a little bit, but you know, and it was a little skirmish a little bit. But I think somewhere in the back of your mind, you kind of liked it a little bit that your team came and kind of rallying around each other. Even some guys coming off the bench, I was like, I'm not even officially hired yet, and I'm pulling guys back to the bench. In the back of your mind, Coach, do you kind of like that because they kind of rallied around each other?
I mean, I do, but I don't. You know, I don't stand for that at all. I'm not about, you know, fighting, and I'm about having class, because as you already know, a lot of people going to automatically stereotype your players, JUCO guys, problems. You know, he got problems. He couldn't get it done in high school. Probably had attitude problems. So I don't want to get caught up in that. Even though it wasn't our guy that started it, I don't want that to be something that people think we stand for. But on the other note, to go to your point, we definitely not soft. You know?
Yeah, I got another word for that, but I can't say it online.
Right. And that was a good catch there, Coach Penny, because like you said, you know, you get down in the crunch time in a game situation where, you know, same type of foul happened, you know, mid-season where you need that game. It's a 1-point game. All of a sudden, you know, one of your star players don't know how to respond from that, get you a technical foul, 2 shots and a ball out, then all of a sudden you lose the critical game. So I definitely understand that.
Yeah, yep, exactly. And that was my whole point. You know, that's why it's so important to play these exhibition games and these scrimmages early in the season to get those kinks out. I'm glad it happened, so now I can show them on film what happened, how this could happen in a real game, and the negative consequences that could come from it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something that the player. I'm not gonna mention his name because we're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna embarrass the player that ended up getting ejected from the game. But when I talked to him, he said he apologized to me. I was like, well, I didn't know what to say. So that's to you, Coach, that let him know that he knew that he was upset about that and he was not happy about what he did. And he apologized to even me that he did, and he told me it won't happen again. He assured me of that, so I know that makes you happy, Coach.
Oh, it does, and our whole team, we got a great bunch of young men, And they're a work in progress, all of them. We're going to continue to work on these guys and sharpening their skills and sharpening them as people to continue just to grow them into men. So I'm glad that he said that, and I have no doubt that he'll continue to get better.
All right, Penny. We definitely will be in contact with you. I'm gonna call you tonight. I got some stuff got some ideas to run past you. And
I'm ready now, Penny. Just to let you know, I'm ready.
And Mac is ready now. He already got his basket calls and all that stuff. We getting music together. I think we even Jason Sales has made some comments about the music that we're gonna have for the game. So we getting ready, man. We getting fired up for that, and we're looking forward to that first game. I'm looking forward to going to Vincennes, Indiana. That's a place that my brother and my sister graduated from. Haven't been there in many years. I'm just looking forward to going there for those games and to be a part of this. We just glad to be part of the family, Penny.
Oh man, I like I said before, I can't even put in words how excited I am about what's about to happen. I just hope we can make you look good. You know,
we already do. We can make you look good.
Right.
Already do, man. But we appreciate it.
Talk about.
We appreciate it. I'll be calling you later on the night, man.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
All right, Penny Collins, up and coming coach. Hey, Jason, I can see him now. I can definitely see him on a sideline and at least a OVC.
I told you in about 2 years. I'm giving him 2 only because I know the type of person Penny is.
Yeah.
And he's bringing these kids in, and when he brings kids in and he makes a commitment and a promise to a kid, he wants to fulfill that.
Yep.
So before he makes any type of decision, if he does get a job going someplace else and stuff like that, he's definitely going to sit down and talk to his kids and make sure. And if he does, or when he does, a lot of those kids that's playing for him there will probably follow him wherever he goes.
Oh, yeah, that's a sign of most good coaches. And I think, Scott, like you said, you talking about, an OVC. I can see him like what Coach Cooper did here at TSU going up to the MAC, at Miami, Ohio, something like that. But I think everyone's going to be shocked because the last few years, Columbia State's been coming on. They've been coming on. I think that with Penny grabbing his position down here, a great change of guards when he got the post, and being able to just once again grab some of those local kids that the parents know is cool. Junior, you got some of the guys that was back in your day. So now those kids are coming through right now, and and the dads, like you said, they know good people. And they know that I'm not going to send my child to a slouch coach. They're sending somebody like Coach Penny did, button them up. Like he just said, the key thing, we're going to graduate guys and we're going to teach them to be young men.
Exactly.
And so we can do that, and at the same time show them how to play this basketball at the top level. Like his kids said when they told Scott, we walking in, we're a D1 in JUCO program. We're not walking to an NAIA program thinking that we're going to lose.
Exactly.
We all we get looked at by Auburn, the SEC, and so forth and so on. So we got to play that way.
Exactly.
And so I think it's going to be an exciting brand of ball down in Columbia. It's going to wake some people up, man.
Yeah, I know I'm going to wake some people up on the
say
airwaves.
Get your tickets ready for Kansas City. That's
I'm ready. I'm there.
All right, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with Brian Waite, the coach of East Nashville. After these messages here on the Bench Press, we'll be right back.
Together now, we can make it better now. Come on, can we do it? Yeah, you know that we can. We'll rope it up, cause we know how to jump. We'll roll it out, cause we know how to skate. We'll cut it down, cause we know what to eat. We'll swap it out, we eat healthy stuff. Can we do it? Yeah, you know that we can. Can we do it? Yeah, you know that we can. Yeah, well come on.
Today's a good day to grab your kids and hang out with them for an hour. Dance, walk, play a sport, or cook a healthy meal. Because just moving a little and eating better every day can help make you and your child healthier.
Can we do it? Yeah, you know that we can. We'll ball it up, cause we know how to hoop. We'll mess around, cause we know how to play. We'll drop it down, cause we know how to dance. We'll veg it up, veg it night and day. Can we do it?
Search We Can online to find doable tips and activities that you can use every day to keep you and your kids healthy. Remember, that's We Can. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
This is Scott Wallace, and you listen to the Hour of Power, the Benchpress Sports Show on WTN Tribune Radio.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I'm 19 years old, and this is how I live united. I've always been kind of a computer geek, and I found a way to use those skills to help the homeless in my community. For people facing hard times, computer skills and a basic resume are so important. It may seem like a small thing, but it makes a huge difference in people's lives. So with United Way, I created a program where I work with the homeless. Together, we go through their whole job history, write a resume, and then save it on their very own USB drive. We provide workbooks and training certificates. I even budgeted for cupcakes so we can celebrate as a class when one of our people gets a job. That's huge. When somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it." That's what Living United feels like to me. My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
This is Nnamdi Asamoah. I play football for the Philadelphia Eagles, but what I do off the field with United Way might be more important. I'm a volunteer tutor and mentor. Why? Because over 1 million kids a year drop out of school, and that's not okay. It takes 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes about the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a child becoming one or the other could be me, or it could be you. Studies show that if we get to these kids earlier, their chances are better, and kids who read well by 3rd grade are more likely to graduate. So join me in United Way. Suit up and take the pledge. Become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, because when a child succeeds, we all succeed. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Take the pledge at unitedway.org. Brought to you by United Way, the Ad Council, and the National Football League.
All right, we're back on the bench press, and we're going to get quickly into some high school talk again. We have Coach Brian Waite of East Nashville on the line. Big game this weekend against the Pearl-Cohn Firebirds. And Coach Waite, you guys getting ready? When we were on commercial, you were hollering at some of your teams. You prepared? Yeah.
Getting ready.
You guys prepared for this Friday?
Hey, we're getting there, man. We're getting there. It's all about the preparation and, the process. So we're getting there.
Well, we are excited. Of course, the WTN Tribune radio team will be in the house at Vanderbilt for this game. This will be the 3rd time that the team will be able to see you all. And, everybody's impressed by of course, the offense. Everybody, the offense gets all of the clippings, but then the defense has the defense has not given up any points this year. Of course, special teams gave up 7 points. And everybody's not talking about that defense. Is that how you want it?
Yeah, just as long as they recognize that my kids are working hard, and it's not the goal to go out there and embarrass anybody. That's never our intent. We just want to go out there and show everybody that we come to work and we're going to work hard and give you everything we got. So it's been a run. It's been a crazy ride, but hey, we're enjoying this process and enjoying what we get an opportunity to do on Friday.
Now we were at the game against Maplewood, and again, we were talking so much about just it being a program now, not just a football team, and you got a band, and you got cheerleaders, and you got everybody, but how everybody works together. Is that the part of the success that you're most proud of, Coach?
Oh, absolutely. Just to see everything coming together. I've been here. This is my 5th year here at East Nashville, and just to see everything that I've kind of envisioned when I took the job. I was a college assistant coach, and I took this job, and just starting to see those things come to light. I'm not trying to get over religious, but God is good to us, and I appreciate the opportunities that He's affording this program, this school, this community, and everybody involved.
Hey, Coach, the last time you were on, you were telling us about how when you came to Metro that there were some things you saw inside of Metro, specifically with the coaching that you didn't like. And without, I guess we can be politically correct on here. You don't have to call out names, but, maybe some examples of what you were seeing that you said that when I finally get that job, I do not want to have in my program.
Oh, absolutely. I would recruit games and come and visit, and I would see, all these people on the sideline that had nothing to do with the program. You know, and I hope my kids don't do these things, but, you know, turning around into the crowd, you know, just talking to their parents and stuff, and, you know, maybe even as far as X's and O's, you know, running very simple programs in regards to, and not giving these kids the opportunity to be seen or be exposed. Now, I do think that it has definitely gotten better over the past couple of years, but I just saw so many areas for improvement, so much room for improvement here, and I just wanted to bring a level of professionalism to Metro. And I hope I have with my actions and my behavior. I know around here it gets a little crazy, especially during times like this, where we have 2 inner-city schools, 2 cross-town, not necessarily rivals, but you know, there's a little bit of tension there just because we're on the east side and they're on the northwest side and so forth. You know, it gets a little different when we get in a district play. And it's not like the county schools, you know, like the Oakland and the Blackmans and Oakland and Riverdales and so forth. It's just a little bit different environment when you're talking about Metro, you know.
Yeah.
Coach, this Coach Tony, I want to piggyback on what Jason said. To show that as well, you know, you starting to get a lot of the kids getting recognition from universities. I know the big knock used to be, I used to talk to a lot of fans in areas that, you know, the MTs of the world and the UTs and Memphises, they don't recruit locally here. Now you're starting to see those colleges and those universities are starting to come in here and take a look. You know, what part of that from your college experience has been a big plus to your program, helping those coaches and those kids get connected with one another?
Oh, first off, I appreciate you even bringing that up because, you know, in the past, maybe 1 or 2 schools got the looks, and that was about it. But now, you know, I feel like East Nashville is at least being recognized. I'm just speaking of our school, but in Metro, period, man, we've got some great kids, great talent in Metro from top to bottom. Even at the schools that aren't so successful as far as football records are concerned, there are some great athletes out there, and I'm glad that we're finally being recognized. Just seeing those guys come in and see that these kids are getting these opportunities, it means so much to me because that's one of the reasons why you take a job like this, to help young people maximize their potential. And like, you know, I came here, these guys, my kids that are here now, my seniors, they were all in the 8th grade. And that's one of the things we talked about then is, hey, what it takes to get to the next level. So I'm very pleased with what I'm seeing.
All right, Coach, we're going to let you go, man, and get prepared. We are excited about this game on Friday. And, I know Maplewood doesn't, you know, I'm a Maplewood guy, but if Maplewood doesn't do it, I always have to turn my eye a little bit towards you because you all are good friends of mine, and I really appreciate what you've done over there, man.
Hey, well, I appreciate it, Scott, and you know you're more than welcome at my house. I really appreciate everything you do for Metro Schools and East Nashville.
All right, Coach Brian Waiting, and he owes me a shirt and a hat. I was hoping he'd still be on the line.
He's not going to let you forget about that, Coach.
I love it, man. Hey, we'll get that shirt to you.
All right, man. Coach Brian, take care.
Right,
Coach Brian Wade of East Nashville and ready for this game. But we're going to go on for the news with
Melody Scales.
Melody Scales. I know I forgot her name. I'm sorry, Melody, but we're going to let Melody take it away for the news. And we'll be right back after the next hour with more Bench Press. We'll be right back. Take it away, Melody.
Play somebody shot the ball. He took off running down court.
Hey man, you see they talking about the close alignment coming to these the World Games. Now how
you're listening to WTN Tribune Radio, home of the Hour of Power, the Benchpress Sports Show. Tune in right here every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Central Time on WTN Tribune Radio.
They moved up to 3 and 4. Yep. You know, and then like San Antonio got beat, then they struggled winning the other day.
Yeah, NBA needs to go on and just adopt the international rules.
Well, you know.
And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody, squeeze in. Say cheese.
Followed naturally by an order of wings and another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Join us for a super weekend at Mount Zion on August the 22nd and August the 24th. On Friday, August the 22nd, it's a night of prayer and prophecy as Mount Zion welcomes Prophetess Marcia Morrison and Bishop William Murphy Jr. at 7 p.m. at our OHB location. Then come worship with us on Super
Sunday. Nashville and the world.
Good evening. It is 5 o'clock, and for the TSU News Network, I am Melody Scales. Shots fired in Boyd Hall this afternoon caused a commotion on campus today. News Channel 2 reports that police continue investigating the cause of the 2 shots that were fired. After witnesses said the shots came from the 7th floor, the whole dorm was placed on lockdown, which was cleared almost an hour later. No one was injured in the shooting, and witnesses also say that something was dropped from the 7th floor to someone in the parking lot. The police immediately stopped the vehicle the person was in, and marijuana was discovered in the car. Metro Police continue to search for the TSU student suspected of a string of armed robberies. News Channel 4 reports that a tip identified the student as 19-year-old Cameron Morton from Memphis, Tennessee. Arrest warrants have been issued on Morton for 2 counts of aggravated robbery, 1 count of attempted aggravated robbery, and 1 count of aggravated assault. Additional charges may be added. Police also executed a search for Morton with the assistance of TSU PD and Boyd on Friday night with no luck. Morton is still on the run. The police are now looking for his accomplices in the robbery. If you have any information, please contact the police or Crime Stoppers at 615-742-7463. Again, that is 615-742-7463. Officials held over an American Airlines flight from Dallas after a medical scare. Channel 5 News reports that no risk for Ebola were found. Pilots took the airplane to a remote part of the airport where passengers were quarantined for 3 hours. Passenger Bill Wood rode the flight and experienced the quarantine.
We didn't really see anything. We didn't see the patient, and I think they came to the back of the plane somehow and got on there. So we didn't see anything.
The Metro Public Health Department said the passenger with the medical issue had no contact with anyone with Ebola in Dallas and has not traveled to Africa. Gospel radio legend retires after 40 years. News Channel 5 reports that Clarence Kilcrease now wants to retire from his DJ and management career that has spanned for more than 40 years. Kilcrease influenced a lot of future broadcasters, including the one and only Oprah Winfrey. Kilcrease takes most pride in the money he has raised on air.
Raised $3,000 and $4,000 in one night, many times, and today it makes me feel good because we were able to help the poor and help so many people.
Kilcrease's last day on air at WENO Radio will be at the end of this month. You better keep your umbrellas handy because your forecast for tonight calls for a 50% chance of a thunderstorm with a low of 70. Also, our area will be on a tornado watch for the next 7 hours, so make sure to be in a safe place for precaution. For tomorrow's forecast, a 60% chance of a thunderstorm with a high of 72. Currently, it is 82 degrees, and for the TSU News Network, I am Melody Scales.
This has been a production of the TSU News Network.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. Then there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese.
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And we're back. We're on the back half of the 2 hours of power now, the bench press. So we're going to get into a little NCAA football talk. And let's go back. Let's say we'll go back to August 19th. We'll just pick a random date. We'll pick a random date in the past. I'll tell you, there's 5 undefeated schools left. Is Mississippi State one of them?
Nope.
Is Baylor one of them?
Maybe.
Is Ole Miss one of them?
No.
Then I say, who's the number one team in the nation when you wake up on October 13th? Is Mississippi State the number one team in the nation?
Bulldog.
Crazy. Absolutely. And Florida has not lost a game in what now? Almost 20-some games?
I think 22 straight games.
Yeah. So, and they knocked out 2 teams in the top 25 this year.
Yep.
So I can't help if the ACC was down. I mean, Scott and I, we Big Ten fans. Big Ten been down for a minute. You know?
I don't think it's so much of it's being down. I just think now it's more parity. Because it's a lot of those kids that will go to the Alabamas, that was going to the LSUs and all of them. Now they starting to see what Mississippi State got. They starting to see what Ole Miss is doing. Hugh Freeze and Dan Mullins, they've done a great job building their program. And like Hugh Freeze had the last 2 years, 2 of the top 5 classes in the country. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that defense is legit. If you don't think, that's both at Ole Miss and Mississippi State. If you think you're going to go down to the SIP and get an easy win like it used to be back in the day, you got another thing coming.
But I'm like, Jason, you coming from what, 12-13 last week, jump up to what was it, 6 I think they were?
They were 3.
3. Okay.
Both of them was third.
I mean, and then you knock off Auburn, you move to number 1. You know, what mistake did Florida State make? I mean, you know.
I mean, you just got to look, though. They hadn't had a tough schedule, and they don't look like the number 1 team in the country. Like, hands down.
The selling point for Mississippi State is this was their 3rd straight team over a top 10, 3rd straight win over a top 10 team.
Yeah, because of parity.
And impressive wins. Right. Not squeakers or anything like that. These are pretty good wins.
Auburn should have jumped further, and that's the case. Why is Alabama still in the top 10? Because Alabama definitely not looking like no top 10 team, especially where they played Arkansas.
And I will agree with that. And I'm to my family in Alabama, if y'all listening, Roll Tide. But
yes, sir.
They do not look like a top 10 team right now. Brett Bielema has not won an SEC game since he's gotten into the conference, and it almost happened Saturday. And with a missed extra point, we maybe have a different story.
We might, but at the end of the day, you got to look at it. Bielema brought that Big Ten football style in there. He has the biggest offensive line in the country, in the league or in college. So that's their style. When you having to adjust to different styles each week, and that's one thing that's about the SEC that's starting to evolve now. Like back in the day, it was straight just pound, pound, pound. You line up, we going to pound you, we going to play great defense, and then we going to go about it. Now you get the Texas A&Ms in the world, the Missouris. You get all these teams that want to spread the ball out. Florida, Tennessee now trying to do more of a spread type thing instead of doing more of the pound and ground like they used to be. So 1 week, you got to go worry about 4 or 5 wides. Then the next week, you got to worry about a team that's going to line up with 3 tight ends, the biggest offensive line in the country, 2 or 3 of the best backs in the country, I think, just from watching them play. Right. And we going to bring it to you. You know what's coming. Stop us.
I'll apologize if anybody in West Virginia is listening. Marshall is also undefeated. Sorry.
Yeah. And Scott, I just asked you on that, Scott. You mentioned something earlier, and this alludes to what you were talking about. What would have been, let me reverse this. if Alabama would have kept Abdul, running back at Nebraska, who's breaking all the records, and they'd have kept Jamison at home.
I mean,
And that's the reason why they left, because they didn't feel like they could play at Alabama.
Exactly.
So they had to go someplace else, because that's the thing where, these guys are going to go. If you go to an SEC school, you know you're going to a big school, you know you're going to have a chance.
Right.
And now the teams like LSU are falling back. Alabama, who now everybody talking bad about Alabama, if they run the table, they still be in the top 4 if they run the table. So Auburn is taking a step back, but you're not really looking at that because Mississippi State. Nobody is understanding how good Dak Prescott. He's McNair reincarnated.
Exactly.
He plays like his idol is Tim Tebow, and he plays like the college version of Tim Tebow. He runs,
he has a much
he can
better
throw.
arm.
He's just a complete quarterback. And again, they've got they keep a stable of running backs down there. Also, their defense is impressive. Anybody that was saying that they may do things, their defense is also getting things done. And as far as the other Mississippi team, Ole Miss, we've heard. I watched last year the good Bo Wallace for a little while and the bad Bo Wallace against Georgia Tech in the Music City Bowl. It's been pretty much all good Bo Wallace this year, and this is what they needed out of him. If they were going to take that next step, they needed that guy to say, hey, I'm going to get myself together. He had some off the field issues and things like that. So and now he's got things rolling again. We talk about it all the time. Good quarterbacks end up doing good things. You don't hear about the Peyton Mannings of the world and Tom Brady's. Those guys never got in trouble in college, or if anything that was silly, they got themselves fixed. Hopefully, Bo Wallace has himself fixed if you're a Rebels fan.
However, Wallace hadn't really played that great of a season. Like, he's been consistent enough. He's been consistently good enough for them not to lose. If it wasn't for that defense, they would have lost a lot more games. Because you look at a couple of games Ole Miss has played, Bo Wallace looked like he was in the 7th grade on some plays, making some certain mistakes and misreads and doing things that you expect a freshman quarterback to do, not a senior quarterback. And that defense just kept making plays, giving them the ball back, getting them in good field position. And then you play a good stretch you can play 10 good minutes good in the second half, especially if it's the last 10 minutes of the fourth quarter. That's what you want. So he still has a long way to go, but right now he's definitely working towards going in the right direction.
Kentucky at LSU at night.
Kentucky. I think Kentucky, and it's hard for me to say that being an Alabama fan, but I honestly believe Kentucky gonna go into Death Valley and steal one.
And they got to go to Tuscaloosa too, I think. So
they gonna take it on the chin on that. They gonna go LSU. They still got a lot of growing up to do. Like, I believe they'll make it to a bowl game, but I still can see them losing maybe 2, maybe 3 more games that they have left on their schedule. Because they got a tough little stretch too. Because, again, they got to go through that SEC West. And they hadn't played Mississippi State yet, have they? Right. Yeah, they play Ole Miss, but they haven't played Mississippi State yet. They still got to play Alabama. They still got to play Texas A&M. And
Texas A&M got a good quarterback.
Exactly. Yeah. Their problem is this defense. They can't stop nobody.
Yeah. And looking towards the end of the season, we know that this is the inaugural season of the 4-team playoff system. Right now, like we said, there's 6 undefeated teams left. Marshall has a tough hill to climb if they're going to get into it. And I don't care if they win the rest of their game 73-0. They're probably not going to get into it just because of the way things go. How many SEC teams are in the Final Four when it's said and done?
2.
I say 2.
2. Dang, maybe 3. Like I said last week, the 4 best teams in the 4 best teams to me in the country is in the SEC West.
But you're not going to get those because of the way they got to play.
Because they're going to have to play each other and cancel each other out.
Like we said, they cannibalize each other. And like we LSU, you can write them off and say they're dead in the water, but Les Miles. He's the Mad Hatter for a reason.
He finds ways to get big wins and to spoil other people's seasons. So.
Oh yeah. But once again, that may be that spoiled sport where you got a team on the field outside looking in, someone gets knocked off, and then you got one SEC team.
Right,
and I don't
like
think you're
we
gonna
said,
find more than two.
Ole Miss still has to play Mississippi State and Auburn this year.
Right.
And so those are, the Egg Bowl is probably going to decide the SEC West. It may decide the SEC Conference this year.
Still, like I said, they got those two. Who Mississippi State got? Mississippi State got what, at least?
Mississippi State also have to play
Ole Miss. They got to play
Alabama.
Alabama.
And the team you guys ain't talking about undefeated up there who ain't jumped up, Notre Dame.
Right. I was about to get into.
I still ain't sold on Notre Dame because I'm just saying when they went undefeated last time, when they played somebody that was really legit,
all they need to do is get into the playoffs, though.
Yeah,
that's all they need to do is get into the playoffs.
You know why? Because they got that big money TV ticket.
Yep.
They just need to be there to secure what they just got signed for 20 years.
They got a big one coming up, though, against Florida.
Florida
State. If they want to prove that they number one, they got to do it this week. Because Ghostin is for real. He's for real. So if they want to prove that they still the team to beat, then they need to come out and have a good performance against Notre Dame, and we'll take it from there.
So as much as I hate predictions, much as I hate them, right now, well, looking toward the end of the season, who are your Final Four then?
My Final Four, I'm looking at the end of the season. I think my Final Four is looking at I'm looking at Auburn. I'm looking at Notre Dame. I'm looking at
it's tough.
I should have said that off air so y'all could have time to write it down.
I know I got Notre Dame and Auburn, both of those, and I'm gonna go on a limb, Florida State, and then I'm gonna probably take my other SEC. I'm gonna take Ole Miss.
Notre Dame and Florida State may cancel each other out.
Yep. If I had to get my four at the end of the season, Mississippi State, Florida State, Michigan State.
Ooh,
they're gonna climb. It's gonna be a Big Ten team, and they should run the table. They should run the table. I can't see two SEC teams getting in just because somebody's gonna beat somebody who's gonna beat somebody, and you're gonna have a team. Baylor may get in there. Yeah, Baylor may run the table. They beat the best defense in the Big 12 this past weekend.
And they said that the down the stretch they got a weak schedule.
Yeah, they got the weak part of the Big 12 down.
And it won't matter who gets ranked where at that point because you got four, and any Saturday it can happen.
Exactly
if I had to say my four, of course I know I'm gonna say Alabama.
Yeah,
I see Bama, Florida State. I'm like Jason, Michigan State. I like Michigan State.
Wait. What happened to your three SEC?
I said two. And that second team, it's kind of it's a toss up really because I can either say, and it burns my heart to say this, but I say either Auburn.
That means Auburn got to beat Alabama.
Or
right.
Which means Alabama's not in it.
Right,
exactly.
Two
That's
losses.
the Iron Bowl. Somebody going home.
Well, they ain't gonna make that.
Somebody going home out the
It had
Iron
to
Bowl.
be. I'll probably say Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss gonna sneak in because I don't think Ole Miss will lose another.
So Ole Miss gonna beat Mississippi State. You're saying, right? That's what you're saying.
I'm saying that Ole Miss.
And then Ole Miss gonna
State.
win the SEC by beating whoever. Who's on the
Yeah,
other side?
because they gonna get
Who's
it.
on the other side?
I think Florida is number one and Kentucky's too right now. If I remember.
And that's not bad. You know, Kentucky will be a
They gonna
Florida.
play what?
Florida,
you know what's gonna be
they want
crazy?
Florida.
Ole Miss and Kentucky will mess around playing the SEC championship, and Kentucky will beat them.
I wonder if we could get to Oxford on November 29th. I'm gonna have to talk to the wife and see if she'll.
I'm gonna be in the Bahamas.
I will.
Yeah, you gonna be.
I'd rather be in the Bahamas too.
Where you gonna be at?
Yeah, so I wish I could.
Oh.
You know we got a correspondent in Memphis that could hook you up with some Oxford tickets. Our Raina.
Raina, what's up?
So yeah, he could probably get you some Oxford tickets. Easily. There's a lot of people here that we know that can probably get you in there. But yeah, it's interesting, very interesting, and I'm interested in that game, that Florida State Notre Dame game, because I just believe that whoever's going to win is going to be not the pretender anymore. It's going to be a contender, even though how can you say that about Florida State being a second-rate team? But as long as you have a guy like Jameis Winston who you don't know which way he's going to go each week.
And speaking of which way to go, we just saw that They're investigating him for autographs now. So,
oh my goodness,
Jameis Winston.
Yeah,
like
that.
it's.
Tell you, Deion
right
Sanders,
now,
I'm calling you, man. Come get this, bro.
Yeah, right now the NCAA is really just trying to do whatever to try to do something. You have no credibility to me. You worried about the wrong thing and not worried about the right thing.
There's a double-edged sword to that. It is a stupid rule, but it's a rule.
Yeah. And this is why they continue to talk about with the possibility of
that they finna get away from the NCAA
for being on EA Sports, being on these little P2
they
2K games,
they
video
should have
games,
been
whatever.
doing that
Yeah,
because I mean, you just look at sports in general and how much revenue it brings in on a year-to-year basis, and it just keeps going up. Especially college football and college basketball. And these guys, what people don't know is if you're on a Division I scholarship, you cannot work. Right. You can't have a job. You can't do. All you can do is go to school. Hopefully you can get some loan money or grant money and then work study maybe.
We talked to one of your former players, Coach Richmond Jackson, last year. Okay. He was in studio, and Jason, I know you remember this when he talked about his brothers out of school. I can't remember what school his brother's in, and told his brother called him because he needed money, and he sent him some money. He said he was so upset because he went to the local Walmart, and it was people buying his jerseys in there. And he couldn't get any money from that, but he had to call his brother at Fist to borrow some money to eat some pizza.
Yeah, man, that's a true story. and that's how it is, Scott. And unfortunately, man, once again, when you stuck out in those X amount of months and you giving all your, what you got, kind of like what Max said, these guys can't work with 60 days a year.
Right.
And you really can't work with them because more than that's practice.
Exactly.
When you get out of that, you back in going to spring practice or whatever, trying to get yourself back.
And get yourself ready for next
year.
So
that's why I look at schools like this year. Supposedly, University of Indiana is the first school across the country and Big Ten guys that's going to
Indiana University. Get it right, man. University of Illinois.
My bad.
There you go.
Why I said. I already know it's IU, but they're going to be the first school this year, D1, to go back and try the 4-year scholarships. They got it approved by the NCAA.
See, people don't understand.
People don't understand. It's a year-to-year thing.
Well, what happens is, like with me out on the road recruiting right now, for especially you young guys that's listening, football or basketball, the college scholarships at a Division I, D2 level are what they call a 1-year renewable.
Right.
And that 1-year renewable could mean good and bad, meaning that, one, if the coach remains in place but don't like how you play, basically I can snatch that scholarship and put you on either a partial, red shirt, or have you possibly pay for your year to go to school and move that scholarship.
And there is the hypocrisy of the NCAA because if a school can tell you that you have a 1-year contract, and you decide now, if you decide on your own that you don't want to go into that contract, you have to sit out a year before you can play again.
Right. And this is why
the hypocrisy.
And the coach has to release you.
Exactly.
Right. And this is why the basketball arena, Scott, is more prevalent for guys going one and done as opposed to any other sport. And now they're trying to come up with, the NCAA just had a meeting this summer, and they're trying to adopt this thing, what they call the Bobby Knight rule. And Bobby Knight's got a good decision, say, hey, let's go back to the old rule, and that is, and I like what he's talking about, let's go back to the old rules, and that is, go back to allow these kids from high school on the basketball side of the house to accept to jump from high school to the league if they can make it. Now, if they don't make it, still allow them to be, like a free agent. If they don't get an agent and they find out in camp that they're not going to go to the league, then allow them to accept that scholarship to their university. But then if they do, they got to stay 2 years, meaning that they can't go to the league until they become a junior after their sophomore year. Because as a football player, they got to stay 3 years.
Exactly. You know who benefited from that? You guys won't know this, and I know this because I'm a Chicago Bulls fan. It's Larry Bird, if you remember.
Oh, yeah, Larry Bird.
The year that Larry Bird came out of college was the same year that Irvin Magic Johnson did. He was already drafted by Boston Celtics when he was still playing for Indiana State. And because of that, the Bulls, they had a second pick in the draft. Irvin Magic Johnson was the first pick. Do y'all even know who the second pick was?
Yeah, Olden
David Greenwood. That's who it was. Olden Polynice was the same year with Scottie Pippen. Because the Bulls would have had Larry Bird after the Lakers picked Irvin Magic Johnson, but except for that rule. And then they changed it. I don't know why they changed it. I was upset about that rule because we'd have had Larry Bird, but then we probably wouldn't have had Magic Johnson. I mean, Michael Jordan coming down the line. Yeah. But that rule is a great rule, is to allow them to do that. And that's point number 2 that I was going to say as far as hypocrisy of the NCAA is that you have some of those, but it's the pro sport that makes the decision. But the NCAA should be making a decision on when their players can leave, not the pro sport, because the pro sport in football does it right. They say 3 years.
Right.
3 years after you get out of high school.
Correct.
But then if you're playing tennis, you can go right to. You don't even have to go.
Or hockey. You
or hockey. Or baseball.
Yeah,
right. But in basketball, now you got to stay 1 year, and it's like these kids don't want to be there. And then you have so it's a you know it's got to be something done about that. The NCAA is the biggest, you know. When you go to a football stadium, it's 107,000 people there, and they're coming to see you play, and you know you can't if one of those persons in there gives a person a hamburger, they can't play anymore. Right. That's messed up.
And Scott, it goes back to the situation. Unfortunately, you know, like when I do a lot of the public relations speaking to a lot of the high schools in Metro, talk about this exact topic, and that is. Because you've got basketball and football who actually funds the schools, you know, athletic programs. So when you see that and you're looking at that situation, the hard part about it is that, like you said, they're packing anywhere from 10 to 17 to 20,000 in a basketball arena. They're packing anything from 40 to 50 to 70,000 to 100,000, you know, in the football arena. And the school is making the money. And, you know, and now these guys go back, like you said, like Rich's brother, you know, goes down to the sub shop at his own school and don't have enough swipes left on his card. Now I got to call him, hey, Mac, can you send me $10?
Right.
I know,
you know,
that.
And then they go into a situation, what happened with a couple of quarterbacks, you know, and Manziel was one of them, where he wasn't even actually in the store. He was outside walking, had just left the shop, and my man caught him on the sidewalk and asked him about the jersey.
Right.
So, and that was his own jersey. So, you know, I just think, man, at the end of the day, you know, like you said, I think in the NBA, with that Larry Bird clause, the last person who got a chance to take advantage of that was Kevin Garnett. Yep. And they went up and got picked up right out of high school.
Well, no, what's the name? LeBron James was the last one.
No, after Kevin Garnett, they changed it.
They changed it back. They still allowed him, but see, KG could have.
Yeah, KG.
He could have
went back. You say, okay,
yeah. KG, when KG came out and they signed it, it was that dumb clause. Basically, if a team is dumb enough to offer you $100 million, you should be dumb enough to accept it.
Exactly.
And so, and he went up to Minnesota, played 13 seasons and no ring.
Right.
Then transfers and go play for Doc at Boston and get two.
Right.
So. You know, the crazy part about it is you see these kids now, and what's happening is they're saying, okay, I don't want to be involved. This is why the international game is starting to get big when it comes to basketball.
Yep.
Because these guys are starting to see, you know, a prime example.
Graduate, I can go overseas and play for a year and
right.
come back and really develop my game.
Right. I got a text the other day, Scott. I got a guy who works with me, you know, in different international markets and whatnot. I got a couple of young guys here in Nashville I'm trying to work. But I got one of my guys who looks for kids all the time just sent me a text the other on Friday. Said, Coach Tony, I need help. I got a $250,000 contract right now for a point guard. So if you know anybody in that area, anybody you're working with who can play overseas, and I got a contract right now for France and for London, $250K. You know, and you're talking about pounds, which is and translate to American money is going to probably be a little over $300,000.
Exactly.
You know, why not do that for 6 months of play? I make a little over $250,000.
And they gonna get back in shape. I'm ready.
And they take care of your house.
And they take care of houses, expenses, and car,
they make
food,
sure.
dining, and you got insurance.
Time to get back in the gym.
Like the two sports you were just talking about, baseball and basketball. Like I said, I've said this several times. I've got a son coming. If he's athletic, if you know, Daddy, I can play football or baseball. Put the pads down, go play baseball. Right. Or if he can play basketball, Daddy will, since I'm 5'7". I doubt he'd be a good basketball player, but. The same thing, like you said, I mean, you can go pretty much anywhere now and play basketball. You know, granted, you probably want to play at home where you're more comfortable, but, you know, I can go play in Turkey. I can play in Italy. Trajan Langdon was one of the best college basketball players of the 90s.
Right.
He's been in Russia for like 15 years now playing basketball.
Treating him
same
like
thing
LeBron.
Same thing in baseball. If it doesn't work however you hear,
Japan
all the Caribbean leagues, you have
Mexico.
There's several different little minor leagues around here. Like you said, Japan has a pretty big major league over there. But if you can play football, you play here, you play in Canada.
That's it. That's it. Or
you get in the arena game.
Exactly right, but it ain't the same. I mean, it's just like Jason just said. It's exactly right.
And exactly. Hope you last more than the average 3.5 years career of a football player.
Correct.
So again, there's all kind of weird things. Like you said, the NCAA has their whole issue with things, and Major League Baseball probably has the best kind of rule about that, where you can either come straight out of high school or you have to go somewhere for 3 years.
Exactly. You have to stay for.
And hockey is now granted that too, because you can pick up a hockey player and put him in the farm league, and they'll come back, and whether you're good or not, they'll pay for your school. It's kind of like going to the military. Right. So you can go down to Bay, like Pete Rose's son was a prime example. Pete Rose's son wasn't like his dad, but he's played like 15 years in the minors. Right. And then when he finished up, they sent him to school, and then he had a chance to try to make it on the bigs. You know, you can't go and play 15 years of minor league basketball or minor league football, and then try to come back. That just don't happen.
Yeah. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. And we just got to some – that was a good one. We're going to come back and talk more about this SEC stuff, and then talk a little bit about Vandy and TSU. Don't sound like nobody want to come back. We'll be back after these messages in the Benchpress.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I'm 19 years old, and this is how I live united. I've always been kind of a computer geek, and I found a way to use those skills to help the homeless in my community. For people facing hard times, computer skills and a basic resume are so important. It may seem like a small thing, but it makes a huge difference in people's lives. So with United Way, I created a program where I work with the homeless. Together, we go through their whole job history, write a resume, and then save it on their very own USB drive. We provide workbooks and training certificates. I even budgeted for cupcakes so we can celebrate as a class when one of our people gets a job. That's huge. When somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it." That's what Living United feels like to me. My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You're listening to WTN Tribune Radio, home of the Hour of Power, the Benchpress Sports Show. Tune in right here every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Central Time on WTN Tribune Radio.
All in together now. We can make it better now. Come on, can we do it? Yeah, you know that we can. We rope it up, cause we know how to jump. We roll it out, cause we know how to skate. We'll cut it down, cause we know what to eat. We'll swap it out, we eat healthy stuff. Can we do it? Yeah, you know that we can. Can we do it? Yeah, you know that we can. Yeah, well come on.
Today's a good day to grab your kids and hang out with them for an hour. Dance, walk, play a sport, or cook a healthy meal. Because just moving a little and eating better every day can help make you and your child healthier.
Can we do it? Yeah, you know that we can. We'll ball it up, cause we know how to hoop. We'll mess around, cause we know how to play. We'll drop it down, cause we know how to dance. We'll veg it up, night and day. Can we do it?
Search We Can online to find doable tips and activities that you can use every day to keep you and your kids healthy. Remember, that's We Can. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese.
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm so glad we left that stupid party.
No joke.
Hey, baby, are you an overdue library book? Because you got fine written all over you.
Ugh, barf. What about that girl with the hoop earrings?
Ridiculous. When she was dancing...
Megan, look out! Look out!
Oh, my God, Becky. Becky, are you okay?
My arm. I think it's broken.
Can you bend it?
It's already bent in the wrong direction.
I can't believe this. I'm so sorry. I only had a few drinks. I was just buzzed.
Really? Just buzzed?
Yeah, I swear.
Well, in that case, my arm is fine. Ah, that's better.
You're really okay? You're serious, Becky?
No, genius. I'm not serious.
Ow! My arm, it hurts.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this station.
And we're back, going down to this last half hour for the bench press, and we got into a whole lot of talk about the NCAA. We didn't talk about the MLB playoffs, and great playoffs going on, and nobody's really interested in it, but that's how it is about baseball.
I'm rocking with the AL.
I'm going back to them Cardinals.
Man, the Kansas City Royals, I've been watching a little bit. The Kansas City Royals have a team. They remind me of the St. Louis Cardinals back in the day when they had Willie McGee and all those guys. They run, they fast, and they're very explosive at the end. They pulled out a game, but they lost the other day at the end. No, that was St. Louis that beat San Francisco at the end. But just a great playoffs going on. If you haven't watched this going on right now, it's in the conference championships. But the next be the World Series following them next week, so you can follow the MLB playoffs. But another thing that happened, we talked about a little bit on the break, was that Kevin Durant injury. And we're going to get into that a little bit. Kevin Durant, he's usually pretty durable for a guy that looks like he's the Tin Man, but pretty durable. But he's going to be out, they say 6 weeks, but then someone else said it's going to be probably double that.
They're like 12.
12 weeks out and already. And how is that in a very tough conference? How is that going to affect that Oklahoma City team?
I think that, a couple of things here, Scott. Westbrook has got to step his game up. He's going to have to transform a little bit of what he was doing. I know when he came back off that injury last year, he was trying to fit in, and some of those games that they lost, they could have won because he was taking shots. I felt that maybe he could have kicked him to Durant. Now, you're going to have to put him out there, and he's got to be that leader of this team over these next couple of months. And with Ibaka, and he's got some young guys on the side. The rookie's going to have to step up and play early. So I think defensively, if they can continue to play, at least they've got a pretty neutral schedule, for the first few months coming in. And one thing about basketball, unlike any other sports, you can get down and then go on an 8, 9, 10, 12-0 run in the second half of the season, and you're okay.
Yeah, and like you said, they've got guys like Westbrook and Ibaka. And I know the game plan going in this season anyway was they were going to actually move Westbrook off the ball a little bit, start Reggie Jackson, let Westbrook kind of fit into his natural shooting guard role. Now, obviously you're not going to replace Kevin Durant. He's the league MVP, one of the top two players in my opinion in the league. So, of course losing him hurts, but like you said, I mean, you see it in the NBA especially all the time. You can hover around, a 60% winning percentage until February, and then you can say, all right, you know what, guys, let's go ahead and make this run. And, they'll let Durant get healthy. If it looks like, hey, we're still maintaining a little bit, you may not have to rush him back. You got a guy like Ibaka who can, he can literally play from 5, 4, or 3.
Exactly.
And then, like you said, moving Westbrook back where he'll be a little bit more of a scoring threat, not have to handle the ball as much. I think they'll maintain it. It is the Western Conference where you're dealing with the Spurs and the Clippers, and the Lakers will be back, and the Grizzlies and teams like that. But I think they'll still hover around. Even till Durant gets back, they'll probably still hover around about a 6 to 5 seed and still make it.
Oh yeah. And I think the other side is Lakers are going to be down. I think that where they're going to be more concerned about, Denver's going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously San Antonio is going to remain a problem. The Clippers are going to remain a problem, but they don't have too much of that. And I think that when you're looking at Ibaka, like you said, in that middle, I think Jeremy Lamb has got to step his game up. He was tremendous at UConn. I'm waiting on that light bulb to click off on him in the league right now to do what he's got to do. And, I just think that, with what they got talent-wise, I think if they can play, like 500 ball through this, it's kind of like what happened with Derrick Rose. The difference is the Bulls is such a defensive team, and so they didn't know that they could play without Rose being there, and then all of a sudden everybody started to have balanced scoring, 8-9 points a game, 10 points here or there. Noah picked up, and who would have thought that Noah was going to be our leader last year with Chicago? And I think that's what's going to have to happen down here. The same thing with Oklahoma right now.
Now, Perry Jones was a guy that it wasn't mentioned. Now, he's the guy that I've been thinking about because he played for Baylor. When he was at Baylor, he was unstoppable. He kind of played a game sort of like Durant, Jason, and that's a guy that I think is going to step up during this time he's out.
Yeah, and you'd hope that, you can look to your bench and find those guys, but the NBA, somewhat in the MLB, but definitely in the NBA, don't you see more like player movement in the NBA than anything else? If it just came to they're like, hey guys, this isn't working. Durant's actually going to be out probably 3 months. What's to say they don't just say, you know what, Kendrick Perkins and Perry Jones, thanks for y'all service here, but we're going to go pick up name a guy who's on the trading block. We're going to go pick up Rajon Rondo, or we're going to go find somebody who can fit that role for us right now.
I think one thing I do enjoy, man, that I can go back and give 2 thumbs up to David Stearns when he was running the league, and that is he did a great job of helping develop the D League. And you got teams. I know I align myself, a lot. I've been working a lot of the camps over the last few years with Bakersfield Jam and Coach Will Voigt, and Coach Voigt does a great job. They're part of Houston, part of Atlanta Hawks. And so you got a lot of these D-League teams where, I can say, okay, Durant, he can go down to the D and play for a while to rehab and get that leg back together before he comes up. Unlike football, don't have that because of the big roster. But I think when you're looking at, at the different conferences, you can move us around in terms of the players. It doesn't matter. It depends on how the coach want to play. You can play a small, medium lineup, and depending on what goes on, I think what Scott said with Perry, I think he can give them some added, benefit. But Durant only missed 6 games in the last 5 seasons.
Right.
You're talking about the league leading scorer.
Right.
And he's number 1 in minutes. That's a lot to replace, man.
Right. And I was out of the game this Saturday right here on campus, and thinking about this a little while when I did a little research. Now, this is the first loss by TSU in the hole since 1998.
It's a little skewed for
a
little
reason. Skewed, but they hadn't played in the hole. This is the 3rd year, but still a very impressive 5-0 going into this game. But they played I think the number 4 ranked team in FCS. They played well against them. They got down big. They started coming back. Of course, Michael German had a career high in over 300 yards passing, but he threw 4 interceptions. But just the first loss in the hole, and usually the hole has some mystique about it. Each game that they won was pretty close, except a couple. But their first loss in the hole, but I'm sure they're going to bounce back from that. Of course, and the next thing that happened in the city on Saturday, Vandy squeaked by
Charleston Southern.
Yeah, Charleston Southern,
hey,
FCS
ugly,
school.
But it was a win.
But
trust me, in that locker room, they were smiling.
They were, but but the thing is, it's not like 400 years ago, if Vandy would have beat Charleston Southern, we'd have been like, oh, okay, Vandy beat Charleston Southern. But they've been beating some teams now. They've been in the bowl games and things like that. It should be an embarrassment, but what I'm concerned is that they were happy that they beat them by 1 point.
Yeah, and that it's still Coach Derek Mason's first half of his first season as a head coach. But I was looking at that score go across the screen Saturday night, and I was like 21, and it stayed at 21 for a long time, and it ended at 21.
Yeah.
And like you said, that's an FCS school. I'm sure there's some guys on that team that have played the D1 and transferred for whatever reason, but that's an SEC school who barely beat Charleston Southern, who asked me over the summer if Charleston Southern had a football team, I wouldn't have told you. I would have said I don't know.
Well, you got to look at it, though. I'll go back to what you were saying earlier, Jason, about the parity, though. I mean, if that's the case, let's go back and look at Appalachian State when they knocked off Michigan. You know what I mean? I listened to Coach Mason on the radio station earlier this morning. He was just saying, man, it was such a relief to get that bear off their back. The kids actually walking in the locker room were able to say, at least we got to win. Now the question is, can we build on it from there? And I think your point is well taken. And now they go back to the SEC.
Right.
Because that was homecoming, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now they go back to the SEC, and their next few opponents, not a pushover.
Yeah. And I know we talked a little bit about the Major League playoffs earlier, and I don't know if she's listening now, but if my mom's listening, I'm sure I know. I can already predict what she wants for the World Series, being a Missouri girl. St. Louis, I wish I could. I-70 series, and I'm like I said, I'm rocking with the AL teams. I don't have I like the Red Sox, and I kind of like the Rangers. Those are teams I like growing up, but I'm not married to any team in Major League Baseball, so I want to see somebody new. I went to a Cardinals playoff game last year. Like the Cardinals because my mama liked the Cardinals when she was a kid, but I'd like to see somebody new. So the Giants, Cardinals, they both been in the World Series past few years, but the Orioles and Royals, neither one of them have been in the World Series since the early and mid '80s. So
Cal Ripken was there when
yeah, '83 and '85, if I remember right, for those teams. So
that's the KC. They get beat up enough having to play the Tigers and the Sox and the Indians every year.
Right.
So for them to come up and get a chance to move, that's big.
And like how Scott was saying, it's a little abnormal for the way they play baseball in the AL. They I think they hit the least amount of home runs during the regular season, and then in the postseason so far, I think Mike Moustakas has 3 straight games of home runs. They steal the base, which is a kind of an NL move, but they've got guys who play great defense. They run the bases well, and it's one of those things that if we get a guy on base, he'll be at third pretty soon, whether you like it or not.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it's very exciting, and I'm kind of like you. I like to see the teams that you, Jason, I like to see the teams that don't win a lot to be in it. And KC and St. Louis will be. KC and St. Louis would be great, but I like to see KC and who else was not San Francisco.
That's who's left.
Yeah. So, but just a great time. And if you haven't been watching it, you need to check it out. Especially check out the Kansas City Royals. This weekend, the game of the week probably is going to be Notre Dame versus Florida State. We're going to get into. You got any sales pitch for today?
No, I don't.
Okay, no sales pitch today.
No, nothing thought of.
But talking about getting while we're in our last few minutes of the show, let's talk about. There's 3 of us in here. Let's talk about this Notre Dame Florida State game and who's going to win, what's it going to look like, and how devastating is it for the other team because they're not going to be able to play any other teams to get them back up to that spot before. Talk about that a little bit. First, you, Jason.
Yeah, again, I'm not a fan of either one of these teams at all. If I had to put money on the game, I'd go Florida State. There's a reason they were, there's a reason they have a 22-game winning streak. Jameis Winston, the reigning Heisman Award winner. They have a great defense going. They've kind of transformed what the old ACC used to be about and kind of built off, kind of seeing what some of those SEC schools look like. And Notre Dame, Everett Golson, until about 2 or 3 weeks ago, still wasn't sold on him. And he's the real deal at quarterback. I don't know if that's going to translate to him ever being a great NFL quarterback or anything, but at what he is now as a college quarterback, he gets things done. Notre Dame has they have a pretty good defense, but again, they haven't seen teams that Florida State's played. They haven't had those kind of the NC State game where Florida State probably should have never gotten down, but they were able to rally and pick up a victory. Even the Wake Forest game, they went into halftime. I believe it was 7-3 or 10-3, and they go on and win it 43-3 or whatever the score was. There's a reason they had those kind of things going. So if I had to put anything on it, I'd go Florida State this weekend.
And Jalen Ramsey, of course, that we
saw him.
All right. What about you, Tony?
Man, believe it or not, man, we talk about Florida State not having a strong schedule. This is one of the reasons why they dropped from number 1 to number 2. I think that you're going to see being Notre Dame's getting the opportunity to play such a different variety of teams from the Pac-12, Big Ten, so forth and so on. I think you're going to see an upset this weekend. I think that you'll see Notre Dame come in ready to play. I think they know that they're an underdog. I think they finally know that they're saying people are not expecting them to win. And Florida State's going to be upset and real pissed off because they got pulled out of number 1 ranking. You're going to see a good football game. This, Scott, may even be the national championship game this weekend.
Yeah, you could be close.
Now, what is the game at in South
Bend? Florida State.
Yeah, so I think, either way it go, I think I take Notre Dame on the upset this weekend.
All right. And next up, the next thing for the free weight is going to be this weekend. We are going to be at Vanderbilt for the Friday game. High school game of the week between the East Nashville Eagles and the Pearl Cone Firebirds. And Jason, you're going to have a great seat up there. We've already been up there once, so you know how to get there.
Yeah.
So talk about that game a little bit.
I don't care who wins this game at all. I really don't.
It's called Mac ain't.
I'm literally. This is going to be a game. If I went to East or if I went to Pearl, I probably would just go to this game just as a fan, which I'm going to kind of be doing anyway.
Right.
This could be one of the games where it could go one or two ways. The score could wind up being 65-60 because both offenses are crazy, or the game could wind up being 12-6 because both defenses are real good.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be kind of see who does the defense bend and not break, or does Isaiah Upton try to one up everything Keyshawn Vaughn does, and they just keep going back and forth. I'm not putting a prediction on it. I'm just going to say it's going to be a good game. It's going to be one of the best games in the city in a long, long time, and I'll let y'all know.
Yeah, I think I'd say hats off to Vanderbilt too, man. These kids, like Scotty mentioned earlier, they don't really have the facilities to play, and it becomes a neutral game and opportunity to go to Vanderbilt. They're not playing good at home, so why not let somebody else play, right? So, I think that's great to get the local crowd. Both coaches talked about they got a great parent following. Of course, we definitely had the mothers in here last year coming in from East and talking. So I think it's going to be great, man. This probably may be the icing on the cake for Metro Ball this season.
And you talked about crowd participation. Like when we were at the Maplewood Lipscomb game, I was honestly surprised at the turnout there. On the way there, I was like, I think I got down toward the area at about 6:30. I said, well, Lipscomb will bring crowd. They always do. Maplewood may have. It was hard to park down there that night. Right. It was really hard to park down there that night. And again, with this kind of being one of those games, Pearl's not that far from Vanderbilt.
Right.
It's closer than Maplewood would be. They're gonna probably bring a pretty good crowd. East not a big school, but they bring their crowd, and then again, you're gonna have people who don't have anything to do Friday night. Are gonna be like, you know what? Let's go. Let's go see some of these guys, and you're probably gonna see a few college shirts in the.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna see a bunch of college
jackets.
shirts in the stadium also from guys recruiting. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Well, I'm just like you. I like both teams, and I'm not gonna pick a winner, but I wish I could be there. But I'll be at Whites Creek taking his stats. I ain't gonna talk about that.
Hey, Cobras, what's up?
Okay, next we talked about our top four. Now we didn't go into this. You all kind of went into this, but Durant, will they survive? Will they make the playoffs without him playing as much, or will it be an uphill climb for the Oklahoma City Thunder?
I still think they get into playoffs. They probably won't go in the top 3 seed. They may have to go in as a 4 or 5. But again, like Coach Tony said, they're gonna just kind of manage the season. When they get him back, they're working back in slowly. And if they're in that 6, 7 seed, they'll say let's go ahead and turn it on. They'll play some of those Eastern Conference teams and go ahead and get themselves established.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Jason, I'm looking at them between a 4 and 6 seed. I don't think they'll be lower than a 6 or 7 seed, Scott. I think they'll step middle of the pack, and I think that'd be a good fit for them because once again you're talking about San Antonio, Golden State will be there this year. You're talking about the Clippers definitely be there. They rejuvenated. They're going to be ready to play this year, and I think that by Oklahoma sitting at 4 or 5 or even 5 or 6 is good for them because then they'll catch that middle of the pack team. They won't necessarily have to play those top echelon teams to that second round of the playoff, and they'll give them. By that time Durant. He'll be healed. Trust me.
Oh yeah.
Durant's will be back.
Dallas Cowboys on a 5-game winning streak. They're 5-1. Are they for real?
Just because I can't say they're for real, and I don't care if they finish the season 15-1. I still won't say they're for real. I can't form my lips to say that. But they like we said we talked about before the show started. They have things figured out finally. Jerry Jones has gotten out of his own way.
Right.
Jason Garrett's gotten out of his own way and said, "Hey, we got to do in the backfield. Where's number 29? Let's hand him the football and see what happens." And every game so far this season over 100 yards and no 101 yards, 102 yards. We're talking winning 120s, 150s a couple times. They're a legit contender in the NFC.
All right,
Scott. I think I'm like you, man, coming from that black and blue division up there in the NFC North. So I like to see the pound game, and I think the Cowboys are for real. I think that. They're not going to be that Cowboys of the early '90s, but I think that finally, like you said, Jason, get Jerry Jones up out of there, let these boys play ball, and I didn't even know coaches on the bench since 2006, 2007. So he's had an opportunity to see the organization from inside out as a player, assistant coach, and now the head coach. So I think he's got these boys believing a little bit more in themselves than what they've been. So I think they're ready.
All right, tonight's game between San Francisco 49ers and St. Louis Rams going to bust out those 1999 old.
I hate those jerseys.
the helmet with the
For a
Ram
person, I
on
hate
there.
those jerseys because I still see Mike Jones
Oh.
tackling Kevin Dyson.
Now that's
Still
the
see
thing.
it.
And then now Jeff Fisher has to look at those jerseys, and I think the last time he saw those jerseys was when Mike Jones talked to Kevin Dyson. So you think he's happy about him wearing those jerseys?
He's probably all right with it since they're cutting the check now.
Right, having flashbacks.
Now who you think is gonna win tonight?
I'll give me my 49ers, man.
Yeah, give me Niners.
We'll
baby.
see which Colin Kaepernick turns up, though.
Yeah.
I
We'll
got
see which
Niners
one of
on the
him
road.
turns up.
Sorry, Jeff Fisher, Niners, baby.
All right, it's another show, and then we've done it, and it's over with. And we'd like to thank everybody who called in. Like to thank our producers, Miss Taylor, Miss Miranda, also our engineer, Mr. Ladarius, and the guys here that helped us out. We really appreciate that. And this is gonna be another great week of sports. Remember, we are now the flagship station of Columbia State University. Check us out on Facebook, Jason.
Yeah, check us out, WTN Tribune Sports, WTN Tribune Radio, the Tennessee Tribune. You can look at our personal pages.
Yeah.
I may not answer, but
Tony don't have a personal page.
we're going to get them set up. I'll shout out to on the prospectsontherise.com.
Yeah.
Check them out.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back next week, but then you also keep in touch with us. Always something new.
We're out.
We're out.